Hey folks, welcome to this first review of the new expansion pack for Superior Drummer, the Rock Foundry. First of all, thanks for Toontrack to giving me a copy prior to the official release date to test this out and to provide a review for you guys out there. So thanks again and shout out to Norman from Toontrack and to the guys from Toontrack. The Rock Foundry, as I said, is the first expansion pack after the release of Superior Drummer 3 some weeks ago. Toontrack teamed up with legendary producer, musician and mixing engineer Bob Rock. Bob has made his footprint in the metal and rock music history, especially known for his groundbreaking work with Metallica. He was the producer on the famous Black Album and worked with Metallica in the years after that. He created the St. Anger album as well, but he recorded and produced the Mötley Crüe, Dr. Feelgood. He worked with Bon Jovi, Michael Bublé. He won a Grammy Award. So Bob Rock is really a legend in the music industry. And if you don't know how he looks, you will find him on the official poster that you see here on the Rock Foundry. But when you watched, for instance, the famous Nothing Else Matters video, which I will show you here right now. So let's have a listen on that. So this is Bob Rock, basically. Bob Rock and Toontrack went to the Rock Warehouse Studios in Vancouver, Canada, owned by Bryan Adams once again, because when you already own some expansion packs for Superior Drummer, especially the Rock Warehouse, you may find this look familiar. And when I switch to the Rock Warehouse, you will see this is the exact same room the Rock Warehouse was recorded in when they teamed up with Randy Staub. And fun fact about that, Randy Staub was the mixing engineer on the Black Album for Metallica and Dr. Feelgood for Mötley Crüe. So Randy and Bob had some work together in the past. So it's pretty nice coincidence that Bob Rock now made his own expansion pack in the same recording room. And Toontrack always hides some little gems in their graphics, and you see in the control room Bob Rock is watching the drummer, so don't feel pressured about him when Bob Rock is watching you. So very nice Toontrack, really like that. Some of the specs of this before we get into some sound examples. And by the way, if you don't want to listen to my talking, I made a video where I just showed all the presets and samples individually without any talking. So just click on the little info box right now that will show up, so you can switch directly to the audio examples. So first, some specs. Toontrack provided 7 kits in total. Basically, you see here 9. 2 of them are just recorded with the snare wires off. We have this default kit, which is kind of a mix between Yamaha with the kick drums, Gretsch, stop sign, toms, and this Dunnet snare drum. Cymbals are mainly from Sabian. We have the complete Yamaha kick, which is more of a modern sounding drum kit. We have Ayotte, which is Canadian-based company and well known for the dark and rich tone, especially on the toms. And we have, as for nearly every expansion or drum library, we have some Ludwig drums, because Ludwig drums are like, especially when you have some old drums like in this case the 60s and 70s, they have a rich, warm and open sounding tone to them. But let's start with the default kit. When I just play a little groove here, the MIDI grooves are played by Martin Christoffersen, a drummer that worked with Toontrack for quite some time now. I think he made some MIDI packs as well. So let's have a listen on the default kit with this little groove here, and you will immediately hear how Bob Rock and Toontrack, what approach they had. The drums sound open, wide and big, so have fun listening to that. Very impressive, very huge. let's go to the individual samples. You see, I've just made some notes here. We have 11 snares. The snares cover kind of a wide variety of sounds, but of course all of them are kind of pre-processed and recorded that they cut through guitar walls and some heavy rock voices. We have some famous ones that you find on nearly every drum sample pack. Tama Berbers, of course, and the Ludwig Black Beauty, probably two of the most recorded rock snare drums ever. But we have some unique snare drums that you don't find on other expansion packs. For instance, this Dunnet number 1 titanium stainless steel. Or this Flavio Cirilio prototype snare. And this Brady snare, which I like a lot because it has a lot of rich tone to it. For the kick drums, they cover like the drum kits that I've just showed you. We have Gretsch, Ludwig, Yamaha, Dunnet, and several Ludwig kick drums, spanning a wide variety of open 70s styles like Bonham style, to tight and punchy for more modern rock, up to just big and like when you need some kick drum that go through every mix. The toms, we have 5 sets of toms in total. This Gretsch set up here where you have 4 toms. I think with the Yamaha we have 4 toms as well. Yes, and the Yamaha just same for the kick, more open, more modern. We have some more like vintage style toms with not that much of projection, some dampening going on here. More of a warm tone. And we have the Ayotte kit, which I already after one day like the most pretty much. And for the Ayotte we have an additional 8x8, so for all of you guys drummers out there loving those 8 inches toms, there you have it. Great. Cymbal wise we have mainly Sabian, because Sabian of course is pretty much known for rock and metal. Big cymbals. You see on the main crash slot here on the left side we have a variety of 20 to 22 inch cymbals, so pretty huge, nothing subtle to be honest. Some cool things, they recorded some cymbals with moon gel on it, so they decreased kind of some of the attacks, so you have a more mellow and warm sound and round sound to the cymbals. Some stacked one as well. The right cymbals, we have a moon gel recorded and sampled right for some cool mellow effects. We have even a recorded ride with some rivets. So you really hear how the rivets ring out. The only disappointment I found that they didn't capture or recorded a China cymbal, which is quite surprising to me because especially in rock and metal you need China cymbals, right? I mean, this is the beta version I got from Toontrack. Maybe they will release some China cymbals in the final release, don't know yet. And of course, within Superior Demo, it's no problem to add some China cymbals additionally from other libraries. But yeah, I would have recorded a China probably, but anyway, this will work too. Hi-hats, Sabian cymbals from 14 to 18 inch even. So really big, washy. Some of the articulations I found really cool. Beside the common different articulations, I found a new one which is called loose clutch. So the clutch was just loosened by the drummer, and then they recorded the groove, which sounds pretty cool. So let's go to one of the more subtle ones here, like the 14-inch Sabian. Overall, of course, due to the advantage or the cool sounding room, the Rock Warehouse Studios, when we remember the Rock Warehouse expansion pack, it's a tremendous live recording room. So let's go to the mixer section. We have individual microphones for each and every instrument, of course. We have a stereo room microphone, some overheads. We have 3 different pairs of room microphones, stereo microphones, some mono microphones, the ambience mono, a mono dry kit, mono kit. We have this very cool ambience piano microphone, which gives you a cool effect. I will just load the samples here. I think they put some microphones within a piano, which gives you a cool effect. So let's first solder this one to show you what this sounds like. So a really cool effect when you blend this in. A own reverb channel, a pretty short reverb, because you can use the reverb effects that Toontrack already gives you as an option within Superior Drummer. Let's have a listen on this one too. Just a small reverb just to give the snare and the whole drum set a bit more depth and width. Talkback microphone, again, this will give you more of kind of a distorted sound. A ALA2A, which is a famous compressor, especially for drums and vocals. They recorded the drums through this compressor and gave you the sample. Of course, you can manipulate and use additional EQ and compression on that as well. We have the mono dry kit, which is cool, and which I like the most is this mono kit. I don't know exactly how they recorded it, but I assume that they put a mono microphone something like in the middle of the drum set. This is a common use technique for recording drums to kind of capture the blood and sweat of the drummer. So let's have a listen on that. First load the samples here, solder them. And again, when you blend this in, you get a real, like, when you're looking for like this really dirt sounding rock drums from the 70s and 80s, this will give you the sound. But as this goes for every expansion pack, of course, this drum sample library is not only suitable for rock and metal, because at the end of the day, I repeat this over and over again, at the end of the day, it's just good sounding recorded drums in a world-class studio by a Grammy Award-winning engineer. So you can use this, of course, for nearly every style. As I said, when you have a Gretsch drum set and a Ludwig Black Beauty, I mean, this combination was recorded for, I think, every genre in the world. So let's show when I just bring down some of the ambience so you get a more dry sound, how this sounds. Let's talk about some presets. When you think of Bob Rock and the work he did, of course, you would expect some kind of Metallica presets. And I was really curious to see if he really put the famous St. Anger sound into it. First disappointment, there is no dedicated St. Anger preset, and there's no dedicated Black Album preset. However, Toontrack sometimes, and they already did this, I remember with the Metal Foundry, where they just renamed some of the famous sounds. So before we look at the Bob Rock presets, let's go to Toontrack. I found this one. This is called LA 1991, and the Black Album, obviously you got it, was recorded in Los Angeles in the year 1991 by Bob Rock. So let's load this one up here, wait for the samples to be loaded, and when you now play the groove, you will of course immediately realize what this preset is all about. So let's have a listen. Metallica Black Album-ish, isn't it? Of course, it's not exactly the same sound, but I think this will work when you want to cover or do some Metallica Black Album thing. One cool thing before I forget is that when you install the Rock Foundry, you get the option to install two different libraries. The Rock Foundry, the core library, which I just show you now, and this mono kit, which has pretty cool look when you see. So they really put a kit in a really small room, dampen it quite a lot, as you see on the walls. And when you see at the mixer section here, just mono microphones, just one single mono microphone for the whole kit, and some additional tape and compression channels. So it's a really cool sound. The kit is just a Premiere kit, one rack, one floor, a kick drum, 2 different snare drums, 1 pair of heads, and 1 white cymbal. So let's have a listen on that. So you may ask, what the hell I'm doing with this one? Well, music is just about creativity and having options, right? So when you're looking for some like early 60s or 50s rock, or when you just sample this kit and blend it into your existing drum tech, I think this will give you cool sound options. Overall, as I said, this whole drum sample library is exactly what I was expecting when I heard that Bob Rock sampled a drum library, because the sound is open, it's big, it's huge due to the room. Of course, you immediately hear the influences that Bob Rock, about his experience in the last 2 or 3 decades working in the music industry. When you look at the presets, and this is one cool thing about the presets, of course he provided some of the of his metal and rock presets. Again, watch the preset video that I just made in parallel. But he always, or as well, recorded kind of a jazz setup here to show you how versatile the whole drum library is. And when I load this jazz kit, let's switch to a more jazzy MIDI track here. This is from the Roots expansion pack. So let's have a listen how this sounds. So here this will work as well, or when I go one of the dry presets from Toontrack here, and let's say we want some of the some old some of those here. So you see whether it's dry and focused, maybe used for ballads or some clubby style music, or really open, big rock. You can do whatever you want with this library, but this goes for every expansion pack, right? So if you ask, well, do I really need this when I already have Superior Drummer 3? Well, it's a tough question, because first and foremost, when you look here, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask if you need another expansion pack. I mean, expansion packs are always about having options, right? Bob Rock and Toontrack made a pack that has some unique sounds due to the way they recorded the drums, the choice of drums they picked for this expansion pack. I mean, the room is unique. Those expansion packs, especially those from Toontrack, are all about the room they recorded. You cannot like recreate a certain room sound. The drums are some sort of unique. You get a variety of more modern and punchy sounds to open vintage style. I mean, the core library from Superior Drummer is so big and so versatile, you won't probably need another expansion pack ever in your life. I always like to have options to test this out, because every single expansion pack or other drum library gives you more option and like sharpens your creativity in some way, because you will have a sound that you can hardly recreate when you're not having drums recorded in that room. If you already have the Rock Warehouse, the same expansion pack that was recorded in that room, I don't think you will need the Rock Foundry unless you really want it. I think that the difference between the two is that the Rock Warehouse from Randy Staub, the one that was recorded for Superior Drummer 2, is more modern sounding due to Randy's work with Nickelback and stuff. So when you're aiming for like this 90s and nowadays modern rock pop sound, you will probably go for the Rock Warehouse. If you're a fan of like some 70s dirt sounding rock drums, really hard rock drums and metal drums, the Rock Foundry may work for you. Overall, the sound quality, of course, is insanely good. It gives you more options, as I said. You may check this out. If you have any questions about this sample library, about Toontrack, Superior Drummer in general, as always, leave a comment below. Make sure you check out the presets video I did. And please like, subscribe, and share if you wish to. Thanks for watching, and see you in soon, guys. Bye-bye.